I wanted to do a follow-up for those of you who are engaged in the postures, either by yourself or within the global group. And I'm going to give you some of my own feedback about what I'm noticing. And I want to give you some encouragement to proceed, even in the midst that it's likely to bring things up. And from the very beginning, I've did the best I could to say, if you're going to engage in these postures, and especially if you're going to engage in the international group, you need some strategy for how you're going to handle or process the emotions that are triggered or moved. Because these four postures, when they're regularly done, they're going to trigger your law of attraction to enable you to experience the unresolved emotions that are still limitations to your change. If you're engaging, even as an experiment, in these four postures, you're going to be integrating things that are, well, pretty powerful. And they are corresponding to the four iris patterns and the four primary experiences in physics. The first posture is the posture of force, or of the dark matter draw, that sometimes they call. There's a force that draws us upward, and that's opposite the experience of number 3, which is gravity. These alternate is the reason why it's 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. 1 and 3 are vertical, meaning the shaker pattern is up and the stream pattern is down. The downward experience, which we know in physics, would be gravity. Now, the opposite feeling is when you go to that posture, it automatically sets in motion its opposite, which is the rising of life force. The first posture is obviously upward, and it sets in motion the opportunity to receive from above. So these two work together, but like in physics, things alternate. The other two, the first one, which is basically at the middle, has to do with your emotional involvement with people. It's a very important posture because it's about your social, emotional relationships, starting at a small diameter with your own family, and a community, global, and more, which you might call the all. The last one, which I haven't discussed in any detail, is the last because it also has to do with the jewel structure. The second one is a flower, so a flower and a jewel are opposites. This is electroconstriction. This is magnetic emanation. So this is electromagnetic inside of gravity and force. So these four postures have specific purposes for their design. They will relate you to what's around you and what's within you. They also relate to the seasons of the year and all the other processes and the different lines of ascending and descending. So the descending lines have to do with the vertical lines, and there's a horizontal sequence, which is the other two. So what I'm saying is, look, I'm using these myself, and I'm learning a lot by doing them consistently. I'm also learning, and I'm experiencing, they will accelerate your law of attraction. So what is a law of attraction? A law of attraction is a loving way for you to receive exactly the opportunity that you need individually that will enable your ability to grow. Part of the reason for doing these years is to develop the will to want to grow. You can call that develop the will to want to feel. and we're orienting that in the long run toward truth and authenticity. So the desire to want to put oneself in alignment with the process of conscious growing. I want to grow. I want to be healthier, happier, and in the long term affect my own body, my relationships to everyone, my family tree. I want to be able to correct things in nature. I want to be able to participate in a global phenomenon. This is the process of aligning. That's what these postures do. That's why it's 23 degrees, tilt of the earth. That's why the postures have a location and a purpose. But again, I'm trying to remind you, this will have an effect. Now, in my opinion, the overall effect is good. It gives you the opportunity to feel whatever unresolved emotions you need personally at this stage of your own progress. So it could be somebody comes to the door, there's a problem in the neighborhood, there could be a movie you watch that triggers you, there could be a telephone call from someone in the family, there could be some image happening in space. We never know what that trigger is. And oh, by the way, we are triggered 100% of the time. The ones that just come spontaneously, they have a purpose, but we're triggered 100% of the time because my body regeneration, my biochemical systems, my physical health, my posture, these are ongoing experiences of us holding ourselves in a specific place or feeling or experience or posture. So we're always in some degree of holding ourselves in a specific location. Now, the law of attraction comes to give us the opportunity to develop an opportunity to go higher with it. The primary thing that we're really doing here is building the will to progress. All of these are law of attraction events, some of them sad, some of them happy, some of them about money, some about sex, some about politics, some about religion, race, culture, and creed. These are all the things that we need to experience in order to enable our will to develop. That will is going to be the primary foundation of integrity and strength, well-being, morality, all the things that we need in order to be able to feel more. So these 4 postures have the capacity for an extraordinary influence. Now, if you really want to enable yourself to experience their effect, I would urge you to do it at least twice a day. Preferably sunrise and sunset, but any time of the day will work. If you want to get the optimum results in this, then every 2 hours, 15 seconds, whatever feels comfortable for you. Doesn't have to be long, just a little bit at a time. Because if you're doing it every 2 hours, you're actually engaging it in the rotation of time. If you don't do that, it has a singular effect. If you engage it in the rotation of time, which means you're going to interface it into the rotation of the feeling, of the vibration of those 2 hours, and you consistently do that day after day, from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night, you do the last one right before you go to bed, it's going to gradually keep increasing your synchronicity with time. And time will be the accelerant to give you the ability to experience more of this and also increase your capacity to move the feelings that are happening. This is why the rhythms of time and the utilization of the protocol are so useful in this. Now, I'll come back and do another one which explains the group. The reason why the group function is even more accelerated is because I'm doing this with myself, yes, but I've made the intentional association to 32 other people in the world from 11 different countries and we're doing it with an intended effect of supporting each other and through the process of sending inspiration to each other. And the difference is when I'm doing this alone, I'm really doing it for myself. Yes, it has effects on others, it has effects on my family and the community, and ultimately it has effect on the greater world. But when I'm doing this for a group, my first focus is on doing it for other people. It's about doing this for a larger group to send them the inspiration. And then I'll come back and explain how that opens up a completely different gate to accelerate your ability to move feelings and or to also integrate with things what we call on the five, which is global, which actually, in my opinion, puts you into closer harmony with what's going on Earth, because we are at a global level. So it's doing our best to be timely with what the phase of humanity is passing through on the entire Earth. So I'll come back and explain that one a little more. But for those of you who are just experimenting with these postures, give yourself a chance. Just try them. No, nothing's going to hurt you or nothing's going to be a problem. You will accelerate your capacity to feel. Just learn some strategy for how do you deal with the arrival of impulses and feelings. What are you going to do? Just that. If you only do one thing, do this. Take every feeling, point it toward truth, which means show me the truth about this feeling. Then show me the truth about this feeling. That little movement from where I am to truth is the very first step that needs to be implemented in order for the greatest health, feeling, well-being to occur. Feeling and truth. Just that much, you're on the right path. All right, good luck. Report back if you have some questions, publicly or privately. I'll be around. Thanks for being there.